Hello there, how are you? I hope you have been keeping safe. Compliments of the season to you. I'd like to welcome you once again to my YouTube channel, Keeping It Real with Abiola. On this channel, I share real issues on marriage, relationships, and personal growth. This is because these topics are actually interrelated and are fundamental to our lives as individuals and the family, in the workplace, and in the society. So I kick-started discussion on this channel on the subject title of marriage using my book, Essentials of a Successful Marriage, a step-by-step guide as a talking point. Essentials of a Successful Marriage, a step-by-step guide is a book that I recently published this year, and I did a virtual launch of it on August this year. So last week, we looked at chapter 4 on the subject title of Commitment, the Big C. And a major takeaway that I would like us to have from this review is the fact that commitment is the force of marriage. Commitment is the force of marriage. Do you want to find out how commitment is the force of marriage? Then you have to grab a copy of my book to find out more. So moving on today, we'll be looking at chapter 5 on the subject title of Romance. Chapter 5 on the subject title of Romance. What are the thoughts that come to your mind when you hear that word romance? Do you think romance and sex are the same activity? What does romance mean to your spouse? What is a place of romance in your marriage? Are you a considerate lover or a selfish lover with respect to sex in your marriage? Before we look at it, before we listen to the review, I'd like to share some thoughts on the subject title of sex. You know, back then in our own days, the subject title of sex was a taboo. Nobody ever discussed it. And so there were a lot of misconceptions about the subject, and marriages were breaking up until when the church now started to talk about it. And even with everyone, even nowadays, in the present, in the current time, with people still talking about it, there are still plenty of misconceptions on the subject, and marriages are still breaking up by reason of these misconceptions on the subject title of sex. So let's listen to Amaka as she reviews our chapter 5 on the subject title of Romance. Amaka Chikambonu is a fellow author and a friend who did a review of my book during the virtual launch. So let's listen to her, and then I'll see you after the review.
It talks about the big R, romance, and it starts with Song of Solomon, a rather controversial book. The pastor should correct me if I'm wrong, in the Bible, where people wonder whether it's really talking about what it's talking about. And it starts with kisses and love being better than wine. Solomon, Song of Solomon 1:2, that's what starts it off. And she asks a question: what does romance mean to your spouse? Depending on what romance means to your spouse, should you up it a notch or should you tone it down a little, if that's ever a thing? I don't know whether anybody ever wants romance toned down, especially for us women. But she does talk about you knowing exactly what romance means to your spouse so you can match to what your partner wants. And she goes on and makes a very interesting statement and says that romance and sex are two different activities but should work together to produce, and she tells us what it should work together to produce. Of course, you have to get the book again to find out. But I love, I've never really thought, well, I guess I have thought about it, but she does make that statement that romance and sex are not the same thing. She also talks about the differences in approach between men and women with regard, with regard to romance and sex. And she talks about the misconceptions and misunderstandings that can arise between a husband and wife because of the different approaches of the sexes with regard to sex. I hope with regard to sex. And she goes into detail about this thing. I love the fact that she's very to the point about the things she talks about, expands on them just enough to give you that detail and have it stick in your mind. She gives ways to keep the fires burning, body language, emotional intimacy, and of course, sex. And these are extensively and comprehensively looked at in a very engaging manner.
Hello there, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please share your comments, questions, takeaways, or whatever resonated with you during the review. So my book, Essentials of a Successful Marriage, a step-by-step guide, is available in hard copy for the price of 1,000 naira per copy. However, in the spirit of Christmas, I'll be running a promo for 2 weeks, starting from December 13th through to December 26th. December 13th through to December 26th. So, and the promo goes as thus. For residents within Lagos, when you buy 2 copies, you get a copy free and also free delivery. So in essence, if you live within Lagos and you order for your copy, you pay for 2 copies, you get a copy free and you also get free delivery. For residents outside Lagos, when you pay for 4 copies, you get 1 copy free. So in essence, you'll be getting 5 copies for the price of 4 and also a free delivery. Isn't that wonderful? So essentials of a successful marriage can be purchased through the following options. 1, via my Instagram page at Abiola Shoremeku, one word, at Abiola Shoremeku, one word. Visit my page, click on the bar, it takes you to the payment page, make payment, and the book will be delivered to you free of charge, whether you live within Lagos or whether you live outside Lagos, according to the promo. Remember, for residents within Lagos, it is 3 for the price of 2 and free delivery. For residents outside Lagos, it is 5 for the price of 4 and also free delivery. But if you prefer to do a direct credit, you can send me an email at meetabiolashoremekun@gmail.com. meetabiolashoremekun@gmail.com. So when you send me an email requesting for my account details, I will send you my account details so that you can do a direct credit. E-copy of this book is also available on Okada Books, that goes for 1,000 naira, and also on Amazon Kindle, and that goes for $5. So there's also an option for free delivery if you live around the island. So we have an option for an option for pick up at our offices at Victoria Island. So if you live around here and you think that you don't need the delivery, you can just pick up a copy of your book at our offices at Victoria Island. So in conclusion, before I leave you, I wish to leave you with my favorite quote, which is, if one could reach one, then each one can teach one. What a wonderful nation Nigeria would be. So why don't you reach someone by buying copies of my book? I mean, this is Christmas, the time of giving. So why don't you buy copies of my books for your children, nieces, nephews, family, friends, or just bless someone with a copy of the book? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, Keeping It Real with Abiola. Click the notification button that will prompt you when more videos are released. Thank you for watching. God bless you. God bless your family, and God bless Nigeria. See you next week, and bye-bye.